Hey there, welcome back to Reddit XO, the best channel for Reddit cheating stories. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more stories like these. Now, let's get into the video. Fiancee cheated and planned something so horrible, I can't believe it. I'm, male 28, really enraged right now. I just returned from a long-term deployment abroad and discovered that my fiancée, female 24, had been cheating on me the whole time. That's terrible enough, but things get much worse. She contracted herpes from the other guy, and, I hope you're sitting, her goal was to infect me as well, giving me an excuse not to dump her. Are you serious? Can somebody explain her logic to me? She was trying so hard to lure me into bed. Normally, she allows me a few days to recover from jet lag before initiating intimate. But this time she was talking nasty, cam girl dirty. She never does that, and jumping into my lap in the parking garage. She's usually extremely discreet about physical love. Something didn't seem quite right, so I told her I wanted to rest after my long travel. This sparked a massive brawl on the way home, which escalated into a full-fledged shouting war once we arrived, replete with her destroying stuff. I didn't understand what was going on and told her I was going to contact the cops so she could be locked up for her own good. And that's when she admitted she cheated on me with a man she met on Tinder. She admitted it was a mistake, apologized, and asked me to forgive her. I simply gazed at her, trying to catch my breath. I told her she needed to go and give me some space, but she dropped to the floor and grabbed my legs, telling me that I couldn't send her out, that I could forgive her if we could just make love. I asked to know why it was so crucial. In between shouting, weeping, and yelling, she claimed she had herpes, that dumping her would destroy her life, and that it was my fault since I wouldn't have with her right then and there. I felt like there were a million insects crawling all over me. I grabbed my keys and walked away. I'm at a hotel now, and she's blowing up my phone, messaging me that herpes isn't a big issue, that having it together would make us a stronger marriage, and that we could even share medicine. She put a laughing face emoji after that line. I believe she is going nuts. We've been dating for 5 years, engaged for a year, and I have no idea who she is. I've had many showers and still get the sensation that bugs are crawling all over me. I can't even shut my eyes or turn off the lights. Has anybody dealt with a situation like this before? What on earth was she thinking? What am I meant to do now? Update. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who responded with encouragement and suggestions for the future. I was sitting in a motel, at my wit's end, with no one to contact that late or early in the morning, and no idea how to even begin expressing what had occurred when I posted the post. The relationship is, of course, ended. That was never in question, and I regret if anything in my previous message made it seem otherwise. Many of you left comments and / or sent messages with suggestions for what I should do next to untangle myself from my now ex-fiancé, which is what I was attempting to request. Those of you who advised me not to return home straight soon were correct, and I thank you. I had planned to return the next day, but after reading your remarks, I contacted her cousin, nearest related, who lives close, and told her everything. She didn't believe me at first, but when she arrived to our house, she discovered my ex-fiancé gazing at the wall, incoherent, with hundreds of our pictures ripped up all around her. The cousin got her some assistance. She called 911, and a very kind police officer arrived with a social worker, and they got my ex-fiancé into a mental center together. I spoke with the police, and he said it was okay for me to return home and clean up. He took pictures for his report. He also advised that I obtain a temporary restraining order to keep her away from me, which I did this morning and am now waiting for the hearing, and that her cousin get a conservatorship. Ex-fiancé is doing that badly. When I spoke with the lawyer regarding the protection order, she informed me that it is a criminal in our county to knowingly infect someone, or even attempt to infect someone, with an STD, but the essential term is legal intent. The DA office is unlikely to charge her because of her mental state. To be honest, I'd prefer she seek care for her mental health than face a criminal charge. My pals came over and cleaned up our house, which is now my place. They wouldn't let me do anything, only advised me to rest. I ended up sleeping for 10 hours in a row. The issue is that I now have time to think. There are so many unanswered questions. It didn't help that her cousin turned up to retrieve the engagement ring. When my ex-fiancé was hospitalized, they removed all of her valuables. The fact that I was holding the ring in my palm struck me hard. Now, I'm always feeling bad, particularly for the time I spend away from home on missions. My profession entails assisting individuals in some of the world's poorest areas, and when I'm there, I get numb, and the numbness lasts for a week or two after I return. Many individuals in my work depart due to depression. Should I look for a new job? Maybe I was expecting too much from her. Could any lady put up with that? Anyway, I got a few minutes and wanted to express my gratitude to everyone who helped keep me calm when everything went wrong. Thank you very much. Story 2. 15 months left in the military. Kind of a rant, but also a reminder to some that they can persevere. I joined when I was 18 and was just a regular young person looking to earn some money and move out of my area. I quickly realized that recruiters lie and say things you want to hear in order to save their own butts and get people in. Pro tip: ask folks you know in the military how it actually is. A recruiter will make it seem like the nicest thing ever, but you'll be screwed in some way, shape, or form. So many individuals I know had their MOS messed up and ended up doing something absolutely opposite of what they want. The first year was difficult, but I honestly loved the first 4 months after boot camp. Nevertheless, after I joined the fleet, I was in for a surprise. Toxic who seem to care but don't. Stupid games and compelled volunteerism. Let's not even get started on Navy medical. Shortest healthcare ever. I assume that's what happens when a branch hires workers under the age of 25 with a year of training. They don't care about the numerous backed-up appointments or the shady advice. My friends messed up their ACL, ligaments, and so on, and medical refused to give them an MRI because they believed cooling it and giving them a light-duty chit would address the issue. It's very pitiful. Leaders have set you up with motivating nonsense they don't even believe in. The order standards and so on are also so ridiculous. Having standards is undeniably respectable, and order comes in several forms, but they don't even hold everyone to the same standards. Everything is thrown under the rug if you are an officer or over the pay grade of E5, and S3 hawks up the high-ranking overweight Marines so they aren't in BCP. Because they can't lose rank, SNCOs may skip out on duties and say and do anything they please. It's really hypocritical. The junior Marines are workhorses, but the superiors receive credit and evaluation from everyone. Don't get me wrong, there are some excellent leaders out there, but they aren't as frequent as you would assume. The military, or at least the USMC, is not what the general public believes it to be. Yes, there are Marines who give their all and make selfless sacrifices, but the vast majority of Marines are drunken jerks who enlisted because they needed to boost their ego and didn't have anything else going for them. Young kids get married just to get out of the barracks or off base, only to be when their wife cheats on them during deployment, or because they never get home on time, or they get and are forced to stay in for years because they now have dependents and can't get out and go straight to college without a steady income. Personally, I despise my store and its customers. They micromanage nonsense that doesn't even need micromanagement. I come in early, perform my work well, and still get hammered for little nonsense. I was given 8 hours to create a PowerPoint presentation with 15 slides that had to be 10 minutes long since I had not completed 3 MCI by a specified deadline. I arrived at work at 8 a.m. and didn't leave until 11 p.m. They don't care about your free time or your priorities outside of work. It's simply idiotic. When you complain or inform them, they give you the moto-gay stuff like you're a Marine 24/7. The mission is more important, when the mission in question is writing book reports and MCI simply to make it seem like my toxic superiors are doing a good job for their fit representatives. I honestly can't wait for time to pass. Hopefully, these 15 months will go by and I'll be able to take a month off terminal, return home, start trade school, and smoke some loud with my sons. And I already know what you're going to say, and I don't care. This isn't the stroll in the park you think it is, and military suicide is at an all-time high. Fortunately, I've never had such ideas, but there was a moment when I was so miserable that I wanted to go to medical and tell them I was really depressed, because I was, in the hopes that it would make me suitable for early separation. I'm not sure how I survived over 3 years of this. It's really amazing to me, but I can't wait to get out. Everything believes I'm re-enlisting, because if you tell them you aren't, you're treated like a jerk and no one wants to assist you. People often remark, "Look what the Corps done for you. Why don't you give back to it?" I gave the Army 4 years of my life that I will never get back. That is sufficient in my opinion. There are many things the military has taught me for which I am thankful. Yet this institution wears a mask to the public half of the time. It's not as professional and encouraging as it seems to those of you who aren't in. But that's just my rant. There was something I needed to get off my chest. Cheers to 15 months of games.